Hi, everybody. Welcome to more. We got some Umineko going on. We're doing chapter 11, and you know what? Let's just get right down to it, because that's the kind of stream I'm doing these days. FYI, for people who are confused potentially about what's happening with the VODs, I think I'll put something in the description of the videos, but basically, we're only streaming highlights and recording VODs of highlights of Umineko. I urge everybody out there to actually go out and play it by yourself, on your own. We are not documenting the full experience. We're documenting because it's a very long VN. So what we're trying to do is play as much as we can, get to book clubs, stream at really, Jan has put together a wonderful list of basically all of the best places and most interesting spots for me to stream. We're calling them highlights. And so that's what we're doing right now. You saw me earlier play the first few episodes. Jan yelled at me to stop, so I did. We are on the Discord now. If you want an invite to the Discord, go ahead and type _Discord in the chat, and you will get a link there. But basically, we played a few episodes on Discord, and yeah, things have happened. Opinions of characters have plummeted. Opinions of some characters have gone up a little bit, and things are starting to really get interesting. And apparently, this chapter is going to be something. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say. But if you watch the book club, the way that I would watch this if you're watching on YouTube is watch the streams. I'll put together a playlist, but I'll order it. I'll put the book club streams in it. But basically watch the streams in order, and then I'll put the book clubs in order, and then watch the next highlight stream, and then the book club, and so on and so forth. So yeah. And by the way, if anyone wanted to jump in on the book club and stuff, go ahead and head over to the Discord. Go ahead and mark yourself as a cicada head, which is the wonderful word we came up with for the first book club to describe us WTC appreciators. Right now we are gull heads. I need a reminder to change that. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. I said I wasn't annoyingly long-winded before, and I'm doing it right again. Anyway, Genji tightened his bow tie and looked outside through a crack in the curtains. Maybe the rain had died down a tiny bit since the previous night. Okay, so that's the next morning. But the thick rain clouds, the daylight should have clued me in on that one. But the thick rain clouds didn't seem like they'd be letting any trace of morning sun get by. The morning was dim and far from refreshing. Oh boy. It seems it will last all day after all. Oh, furniture. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Genji-sama. The second day. Let me scooch over a little bit so people can see. Ken had finished checking his appearance and exited the washroom. On their normal schedule, it was rare for anyone to have to suffer going straight from a midnight shift to an early morning shift. Oof. They were on a special schedule for the 2 days of the family conference. However, unless the typhoon passed today, the relatives' stay on this island would last until tomorrow. Cannon thought it was best to be prepared for the special schedule to last an extra day. Good call. The two of them left the guest house, opening their umbrellas. The rose garden had been devastated by wind and rain on the previous night. Even though they'd spent several days making it beautiful to welcome the guests, one stormy night was enough to ruin it. Cannon sighed. The two headed for the mansion. They were supposed to meet up with Goda and prepare breakfast. Goda was such a perfectionist that he had probably already woken up and was probably already preparing a breakfast as exquisite and elegant as glasswork. Delicious glass. They reached the overhang by the entrance to the mansion and folded up their umbrellas. Genji took a bundle of several keys from his pocket and unlocked the front door. The Urashimiya family mansion was the only thing on Rokkenjima, so in the past, they hadn't been in the habit of locking up. I don't think I've checked any of the tips, Jan. Should I go ahead and check those? However, Natsuhi had ordered that the mansion be locked up from midnight to early morning. Should I look at those? Okay, let's go ahead. Can we just like jump into them? Oh, that's not it. System tips. Oh. Oh, okay. Behold the sweet. So this is the okay. So people who are new or you know, who are watch the previous VOD and don't know what the hell is going on. One of the main mysteries of the game so far is like it seems like to be the centerpiece mystery is the portrait of Beatrice, Beatrice, in the manor, and it has an epitaph on it that is a mystery that I believe at least the kids tried to solve it, not including Badler, because apparently this was chat. Let me know if I'm wrong on this, but it seems to have been added after Battler left. So within the 6 years that he had left, this the painting and the epitaph showed up, and so the epitaph is a riddle, and no one's been able to figure it out. Was that 2 years ago? I was going to say that, but I was like, I don't know if I'm exactly right on that. So El Haf Nero, Umineko literally does mean sea cat. You are totally correct. We learned that in the first episode, and I was like, oh yeah, Nick. Oh yeah, okay. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the golden land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the golden land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures once and for the last time. So yeah, there's more, I believe. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice. Beatrice. So, yeah, my current thought is, so one of the things that the kids, I believe, you know, one of the things they're making a mistake about is that behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. Who is me? The kids seem to think that it's Kinzo. But I don't think that, I think that's a good guess, but I also think that that's a red herring. I think that or maybe not I don't think that's the correct use of red herring, but I'm getting off track. My beloved hometown, it's a portrait of Beatrice, so I would think that maybe it's Beatrice's or red sweetfish. Thank you very much, Jan. I would think that it's maybe Beatrice's hometown potentially, but it could really be any number of people. Whoever you imagine is like writing this like epitaph. Yes, who is the subject? The past participle. Future perfect, pluperfect subjunctive. Anyway, so yeah, that's one of the things. The other thing is that this right here, Give me Danganronpa vibes. So, person who's only played Danganronpa is give me Danganronpa vibes. This is like, okay, we gotta kill folks. This is also, I mean, I guess I should say it's very, and then there were none. I mean, it's exactly and then there were none, because and then there were none had the sort of riddle, and then the whole thing operated around, the whole story operated around, which apparently was really racist in the original form. I had no fucking clue. So, but yeah, Bob, I think we gotta kill folks. Me, hell yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, I definitely think that there are going to be murders. I don't think, there was some conversation on the Discord about like, oh, you know, should we, it might be a little bit of a spoiler, but y'all, come on. It's right there. I've known about it for a while. Like, I haven't looked, trust me, I am completely fucking blind to everything that happens. But when this came up, I was like, okay. Not to mention, y'all had me watch, and then there were none. So like, I'm kinda, it's not really that crazy. But anyway, so yeah, it really just depends on like, I'm assuming the 6 chosen by the key. I want to see how many servants there are, but definitely like, who is the key? And who are they going to choose? Because they're going to be offered as sacrifices. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like people that need to be killed, and then 6 for the key. Those who shall remain praise my noble name shall tear apart. See this one, the second Twilight. Those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. I'm assuming that would mean, because right before this, George, strangely proposed to Shannon. Just took out a ring and was just like, hey, you can't say no. Haha, just joking. But less. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on this. And again, this one and The Witch's Letter scream like someone really, really wants us to believe Beatrice is a real person. So yeah, okay. So this one, Witch's Letter. So this is the letter that Maria, the best character, the best girl, read to everyone at the dinner table. Like, I think it was canonically in the story like last night. And it was really wild because she became a completely different fucking character. So I'm too nice to order. Yeah, exactly. Beatrice exists. Ooh. So, well, so when she, she's so excited about Beatrice that she became Beatrice for a little bit. Like, she channeled her. It was very cute. And not a single ooh from Beatrice though. So that was kind of disappointing. But yeah, welcome to Rokenjima, members of the Ushiromiya family. I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family, employed by Kinzo-sama himself. I have served him. Also, I just remembered, alchemy was about converting matter into gold, and they have the whole thing with gold, and they already what's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. They had Kraus. I literally remembered it right as I saw his face. I was like, yeah, Kraus. Kraus showed Natsuhi a bar of gold. So the entire time Natsuhi's like, oh, this gold shit again, this fucking fairy tale bullshit. What is this? Meanwhile, Kraus has known that there's actually a bit of truth to it, because it was a bar of gold. Apparently it was the bar of gold that sealed Kinzo's, like, sort of, it sealed the deal on him being of worth It was the bar of gold that I forget the guy specifically, but some guy basically said, like, you have a giant pile of gold. Give me one of those bars of gold so I can go back to the mainland and test it for purity just to see if it's real and legit. And so he picked one out at random, took it back, had it tested. So supposedly that is, yeah, it was collateral for the first bank loan. Exactly, Cuter Faction. So yeah, so that was the bar of gold supposedly, because it also had the wing on it of the Urshiromiya family. So that blew Natsuhi's mind, and frankly just made her fucking depressed and gave her yet another headache. Gave her a headache turducken. I just like the word turducken. It's funny. Anyway, I just think it's fucking hilarious that someone would name food that you would eat turd. Like turd ducket. Anyway, welcome to Rokanjima. Yeah, the alchemist for the family. So yeah, that makes me think that, like, yeah, she was able to conjure gold, but yeah, that's also an interesting, like, that could be a metaphor as well. Right now I'm in a really interesting spot of, like, I know so little that, like, it could go multiple different ways, but knowing my knowing how the story of Higurashi went, like, it kind of makes me want to swing, like, a particular way, because that's the other aspect of this, is like using And Then There Were None as an example. And Then There Were None was very grounded. It didn't have fantastical elements. This clearly does. And it's just a matter of, like, are those real? Are they not? Is it maybe in between? So I don't know. Right now I'm kind of leaning toward, I gotta say, I'm leaning toward it's all real. And the fantastical stuff, it's all grounded. The fantastical stuff isn't real, but that's kind of just my gut. I had that feeling before with other media, and it was totally wrong. So, you know, we'll see. I have served him for many years in accordance with our contract, but on this day, Kinzo-sama has announced the final suspension of that contract. Therefore, I ask that you acknowledge my resignation from the position of family alchemist from this day forth. Maria believes in magic for everyone who doesn't. Exactly. Maria will pick up the slack. Maria believes in it, so it kind of makes me want to believe in it. Yeah. Anyway. And now, there is one part of the contract that must be explained to all present. I, Beatrice, lent Kinzo-sama a vast quantity of gold under certain terms. One of these terms specifies that all the gold is to be returned to me upon the termination of the contract. Furthermore, I am to receive everything of the Urshiromiya family as interest. After hearing this, you may feel as though Kinzo-sama has been savagely ruthless. However, Kinzo-sama did append a special clause to the contract so that you would have a chance to preserve your wealth and honor. If, and only if, that special clause is fulfilled, I will lose my rights to the gold and the interest for all eternity. Special clause. Beatrice retains the right to collect the gold and accumulated interest upon the termination of the contract. However, if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of this contract, Beatrice must abandon these rights for all time. The collection of the interest will proceed shortly, but if any one of you fulfills the terms of this special clause, I shall return everything, including the portion that has already been collected. Furthermore, as the first step in this collection of Kinzo-sama's debt, I have taken possession of the Urshiromiya family head's ring, which signifies the passage of the Urshiromiya family headship from one individual to another. I ask that you confirm this for yourselves by examining the imprint on the wax seal. Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo-sama to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Beatrice the Golden. I just realized halfway through reading that, this is kind of like Secrets of the Hidden Temple. This is kind of like I'm gonna get attacked by a temple guard halfway through. Oh man. The only way this game would be better, is if part of the contract is that you get the aggro crag if you win. Oh man. That'd be so awesome. That reminds me, I need to check how much the aggro crag is selling for on eBay. I legitimately kind of want one. So yeah, as you heard, yeah, it looks like, yeah, that further solidifies the portrait as like, this is something that we need to be paying attention to. This is how we get the gold. Right now we're in a weird spot of like, I think basically everybody's like, what is this? I don't really get, but I think one of the things we all have to consider is that Kraus is like, I think Kraus is already like, yo, I think there's something to this. I think that's why he showed Natsuhi the gold, because he wants her to be like, look, I don't really care if you think, because his sin was a lie of omission. He didn't directly tell Natsuhi that the gold didn't exist. He just, like, he didn't specifically tell her it did or it didn't. So when he says, hey, the gold, like, this is real, there might be something to this. I think that's the whole reason he showed her the gold. I think that's the whole, because I think he's trying to tell her, like, look, maybe we should be serious about this. Also, the only time that we've seen Kraus flustered is when he was during the reading, when Maria was reading the letter. Kraus looked very shocked. I wanted to check for Battle of Wits was written in Japanese, and unfortunately the expression does not share kanji with Battler's name. Oh, that'd be funny. That would be funny. But yeah, all right. However, Natsuhi had ordered that the mansion be locked up from midnight to early morning. Ever since then, unlocking the door in the early morning had become part of the servants' morning shift. This task had been given to Genji and Kanon, so that Goda could start preparing breakfast as soon as he woke up. Oh, please let it be Goda. Please, please. If Goda's dead, I'd be so happy. Silence had fallen in the mansion, giving the impression that the mansion itself was still asleep. Well then, let us begin the morning chores.
Hi.
Yes, sir. The two of them split up and began opening the curtains throughout the mansion. If the curtains stayed closed, the mansion would remain enveloped in faint darkness, as though it was still trapped in the previous night. Aww. Following a well-rehearsed procedure, Kanon went around the mansion, opening the curtains from one window after another without having to retrace his steps once. Even with this horrible weather, drawing the curtains made it feel a little bit more like morning. While doing that, he passed in front of the kitchen. Even though he hadn't smelled anything yet, his stomach started aching for some of Goda's prized cooking.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Good morning. He tried to greet Goda, who should have been getting breakfast ready, but Goda was nowhere to be seen. The kitchen was darkly lit, and not only were the curtains not open, but the fan wasn't even running. It was still cold, without any trace of a fire being lit, so of course there were no signs of breakfast being made either. Though it would have been inexcusable, perhaps Goda had overslept. Even servants are only human. They sometimes sleep in and show up late. In the rare case that such a thing happens, it's part of servants' code to hide the unsightly scene before anyone notices, smoothly cover it up, and make sure the family never even realizes that anything has gone wrong. Kanon took the receiver of the phone that had been fitted to the wall and dialed the number for the extension line in the servants' sleeping room. He couldn't hear that characteristic sound of a dial tone. Kanon tried picking up the receiver again, but even so, he couldn't hear the usual dial tone. He tried dialing again, but it had no apparent effect. Could the lightning last night have damaged some machine, breaking the extension line? The equipment in his mansion was all worn out. Cannon fully understood that even the smallest thing could have caused it to break down. Yeah. He gave up trying to wake Goda with the phone and dashed over to the servants' sleeping room. How long has it been since I stopped sleeping and started lazily staring up at the ceiling? That vague sense of awakening was part of Natsuhi's usual morning experience. She always slept lightly, and she couldn't sleep at all without medicine. To Natsuhi, sleep was definitely not a happy thing. When she looked outside, she saw that it was still pouring. Bro, that hit. Oh my god. That's not me. When I sleep, I time travel, but Rachel, like, I just, oh man. Ugh. Immediately. Like, you made me sympathize even more with Natsuhi. Holy shit. Like, fucking, right here, man. First time chatter, Pedro in the bathroom. Pedro's in the bathroom, y'all. Enjoying Umineko? Yeah, yes I am. It's quite interesting. I haven't gotten to the part that changes people's lives yet. I'm very excited to get there, but yeah. If she hadn't sensed a tiny amount of light, she might have mistakenly thought that it was still the previous night. She herself was one of the hosts, so she mustn't wake up later than her guests. Urging herself on, she raised up her body, which still hadn't completely recovered from yesterday's weariness. No one would torment her as long as she remained inside this room. And her headache wouldn't get any worse here. This room was the only place she could find peace. So when she left, it meant returning to the world where her husband's siblings kept trying to stab each other in the back. In that case, wouldn't it be better to just stay locked up in this room forever? That ridiculous notion brought a bitter smile to Natsuhi's face. She was starting to sound like Kinzo. Though she often complained about Kinzo staying locked up in his own room and refusing to attend to everyone else, the truth was that she longed to do the same. Natsuhi gave her head a small shake, and her fantasy was replaced by the reawakening of her usual headache. Ugh. When she reached for the doorknob trying to leave the room, her hand touched the scorpion charm that had hung from it before going to sleep the previous night. It was Maria's charm, which Natsuhi had received from Jessica. Didn't Jessica say something about it having the power to repel magic, telling her to hang it on her door from her doorknob? Maybe it was thanks to that charm that at least this room had been protected from the malice of her husband's siblings. As she thought this, her mood began to get a little more cheerful. Aww.
ジェシカのおかげで少しはゆっくり眠れたということかしら。
I wonder if I have Jessica to thank for the little bit of peaceful sleep I managed to receive. Then Natsuhi remembered. That's right. Last night, I promised Jessica that I'd give her a charm of her own in exchange for this one, didn't I? Natsuhi opened a drawer on her dresser and took out an antique accessory case that she had treasured when she was a child. Inside, there were many small objects that Natsuhi had thought were valuable at the time. From amidst those, she pulled out a red pouch. Inside was a small, round mirror about 10 centimeters across. It looked quite old, but the design on the back of the mirror was very ornate, and it felt like something with historical value. At the very least, it seemed much more authentic than the other charm, which looked like a plastic scorpion keychain. Yeah, it's still cool. She had heard that this was a spiritual mirror from warding off evil spirits, and she had been given it especially by her grandmother when her grandfather's mementos had been disturbed. It had been believed since long ago that a strange power resided in this mirror. Perhaps people thought it could reflect calamity and malice in the same way it reflected light. Natsuhi returned the mirror to its pouch. It would probably be a fitting object to hand over to Jessica. I knew it. That was the little thing from her childhood. The way that she picked up the charm from Jessica and was like, "Oh, I'll give you one." Like that was her like childhood like activating. That was her childhood. That was her child self, her child sleeper agent. Like, yeah, after City, that was a perfect word to say. It was very tender. It was a very tender moment. It was very, I want to say humanizing, but she's already so human. I'm sure for Jessica, it was very humanizing to see her mother like do that, like suddenly become like kind of excited in a way that a kid would be to share charms, you know? It's like if my kid were to tell me, or to like give me a Pog or like a Pokemon card, and I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, we'll trade. Here, I've got my other ones in my closet. Hold on, I'll be right back." You know. So yeah, here's my favorite, the Scyther. I treasure this one. Scyther and Charizard. These are first editions. You can have them though. They're like $2,000, but don't worry about it. Like, this is a trade. Here you go. They all do contain multitudes. All right. Just as she was placing it in her pocket, the sound of someone knocking on the door suddenly echoed throughout the room.
Hi.
Yes?
おはようございます、奥様。
Good morning,
で
madam.
ございます。
It is Genji.
早朝から申し訳ござい
My
ま
apologies for waking you so early.
今行きます。
I'm coming now.
何事ですか？
What is it? No servant had ever come to her this early in the morning, nor had they come to wake her in person. Perhaps something bad had happened. Maybe some fatal oversight had been made while preparing breakfast, something that would shame the household in front of their guests. Or specifically Ava. And then Ava just like punches Natsuhi in the gut. Natsuhi took a deep breath in anticipation for whatever troubles she was about to hear of. When she opened the door, Genji once again gave a morning greeting while bowing deeply. Natsuhi tentatively responded.
おはようございます。
Good morning.
何かありましたか？
Did something happen?
申し訳ございません。
My
昨
apologies.
夜の落雷で
It would seem that the telephones have broken down due to the lightning from last night.
内線電話が普通
The
になって
extension telephone isn't working, so please
直接
forgive
の
my
お
coming
伺
to
い
see
に
you
なってしま
directly.
ったことをお許しください。
内線電話が
The
普通。
extension telephone isn't working?
それは面倒になりましたね。
That will be troublesome.
修理は可能ですか？
Will it be possible to fix it?
残念ながら故
I am
障箇所
afraid we don't know the location of the damage.
後で業者
Later on, I would like to call an expert and have him repair it.
ということは、
Does that mean we'll be unable to have it repaired until after the typhoon passes?
つまり客人たちの
Then it will
滞在
remain
中は
broken down for the duration of our
ずっと普通ということです
guests'
ね
stay.
客人たちのお世話に支障は
Will that hamper our efforts to care for our guests?
出ないよう
We will do what we can to ensure there are no problems.
結構です。
Very well.
粗相のないようよ
I'm
ろしく
counting on you to make sure we don't have any blunders. Natsuhi let out a small sigh of relief. She had been prepared for the worst, but damage to the telephones wasn't the kind of trouble she was worried about. Then again, even this would probably be enough to spark sarcasm from Ava. Natsuhi gave her head a light shake.
朝食の準備は順調ですか？
Are the preparations for breakfast proceeding well?
それが
As to that,
大田の姿が
we haven't been able to find Goda.
朝食の支度
The arrangements for breakfast have yet to be carried out.
なんですって？
What did you say? Natsuhi was indignant. To her, this was a much bigger problem than the phones not working. And despite that, this piece of information was the part that had been postponed. Why did everything go well most of the time and then come to something like this when the relatives were visiting? Natsuhi put her hand to her forehead and shook her head.
大方朝寝坊でもしているのでしょう。
Well, I suppose he slept in.
とにかく誰でもいいか
At
ら
any
急
rate,
いで
just
朝食
see
の
it.
準備を。
Just see to it that someone hurries up and prepares breakfast. I don't care who. What? Natsuhi exited into the hall and turned around for a second to close the door to her room. The creepy thing she saw there silenced her completely. It was an unpleasant sight, as though someone had dipped their fingers in a reddish-black liquid and scratched at the door around the doorknob. It was probably some sort of awful prank, arranged by some person who wanted to make it look as though they'd tried to force the door with bloody hands. What?
これは
What sort of prank is this? What the fuck? Hold on. How awful.
私も今ここにお
I
伺い
also
して
just
初め
noticed
て
it at
気
the
づきま
same
した
time. I also just noticed it as I came to call you.
後ほど清掃い
I
たし
will clean it later. But
大
perhaps
方趣味の悪い客人の
this
冗談
is a vulgar joke by one of the guests.
不愉快です。
Disgusting.
実に不愉快です。
Truly disgusting. Who in the world would pull such a childish and disgusting prank? Natsuki had a pretty good idea, but of course there was no proof. So even if she pushed the issue, it would just seem as though she was making a fuss about nothing. In fact, it would surely be better to act as though she hadn't even realized that such a prank had been played on her. Yep. Same brain. Yep. I'm with Natsuki. Just like, nope, didn't see it. No. What prank? What? Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, whoa. Yeah, you guys are pretty bad at this, huh? Y'all have no idea how I do that. How many times I do that? I like read something like shitty that someone said, and I'm just like, what if I just pretend I didn't see that and just let the person like stew? It's so delicious. It's like, ooh, let them think that like, damn it. Oh, I need to do it. Oh. Anyway, same brain. Natsuki is great. Natsuki gave the order to have it cleaned and headed off to the parlor with a squeak of her heels. It is delightfully devilish. Well, if it ain't the Blowjob Brothers. When Natsuki and Genji arrived in the parlor, Eva and Hideyoshi were already there. Great.
おはようございます、皆さん。
Good morning, everyone.
おはよう、夏日さん。
Morning, Natsuhi-san.
朝食もゴー
I
ダ
heard Goda-san would be making us breakfast too. Oh, come on. Let Clover say blowjob, brother. Come on. What are we even doing, Automod? Jeez, get your shit together. I heard Goda-san would be making us breakfast
朝
too.
から胃袋が
My stomach's getting all excited since I woke up. I don't need... Wahahaha. Wahaha. Yeah. He's kind of Mario coded. Wahaha.
本家の楽しみは食事くらいがせいぜいですものね。
After all, it seems food is all you can look forward to at the head family household. I love her so much. I love her so much. Oh, we've got a Hideyoshi lover in the chat. Interesting. He's definitely definitely giving off like try hard cool uncle vibes, but at the same time he seems to be cool, and he I mean, for all intents and purposes, he actually gives a shit about the kids. So like he doesn't have any like marks on him there. The one thing I would say is that him losing his temper when Kraus like confronted him about the hostile takeover thing made me think, this guy, there's a multitude with this person that I don't think we've seen yet, and I'm really interested to see him like the chill kind of like, oh shucks kind of, I think it's a facade, and I think that it's coming from a real place, but I also think that he's projecting it and trying to keep it up. Does that make sense? He's got his like, he reminds me of a person who's like introverted who can switch on like being an extrovert, but at what cost? Like at a certain point it's just going to crumble and break down. It's not like I'm speaking from experience or anything. Giggle.
エヴァさんも朝からご機嫌がよろしいようで。
I'm pleased to see that you too are in high spirits so early in the morning, Eva-san. She said, glaring. With a weary expression, Natsuhi returned Ava's gaze, which was fiercely competitive despite the early hour. Then Cannon jogged in. After bowing an apology to the relatives for running inside the mansion, he noticed Genji and told him something in a small voice.
カノン、
Cannon,
ゴーダはまだ見つからないのですか？
have you still not found Goda?
申し訳ございません、奥様。
My apologies, madam. Okay, Natsuhi, I maybe wouldn't have said that out loud in front of Ava. That's just me. Anyway, it should be noted that his accent is fake textually. Yeah, exactly. Like he's putting on, thank you for pointing that out. That I feel like that plays a major role in how I feel about him. But I still like put him high up on my tier list because like he's not S tier, but he's interesting. There's something interesting about him. My apologies, madam.
お屋敷内もゲストハウスも
I
回っ
went all over the inside of the mansion and the guest house,
まだ
but I still haven't found him.
一体どこへ行ったとい
Where
う
in
の
the
です
world has he gone?
とりあえず今は
At
豪
any
大より
rate,
朝食の
breakfast
準備
is
が
a
先
higher
決です
priority than finding Goda right now.
至急対応しなさい
See to it immediately.
はい
Yes. Cannon glanced at Genji. It seemed he had something else to report, but was uncertain whether or not the words should come from him. Genji nodded and decided to give the report himself.
奥様、
Madam,
ゴーダだけではありません。
it is not only Goda.
旦那様の姿もありません。
Your husband is also nowhere to be found.
主人が
My husband?
はい。
Yes.
奥様より先に
Even before visiting you, I went to his room to tell him that breakfast wasn't being prepared, but I did not find him there.
それから
Furthermore, he is
旦
not
那
the
様
only
だけでは
one
あり
missing.
ません。ルドルフ様ご夫妻
Rudolph Sama, his wife, and Rosa Sama are nowhere to be found.
ゲストハウスにも
Not in the guest house?
屋敷にもですか
Nor the mansion?
あはい
Yes.
ゲストハウスの部屋にも
They were not in their rooms in the guest house either. When she'd heard that Goda alone was missing, she'd assumed he had slept in or was loafing around somewhere. However, now that she'd learned that several of the relatives were also nowhere to be seen, she began to take a slightly more optimistic view. Could last night's family conference have continued all night, up until the present moment? If so, they might have wanted to cool their heads after being shut in a stuffy room, going out for walks on their own through the rain. The part about cooling their heads really sounded like something Kraus would say. Goda had probably been summoned to accompany them and aid them in some way. Goda was not a man who lost track of time. He had to understand that preparations for breakfast would be hindered if he did not return. Also, being a cook cooks no time. I don't even need to say this, but I'm just emphasizing this. Cooks are very good at like having a sort of internal clock about like when to do certain things. So that's interesting. However, maybe the family conference had continued until this very moment, with an atmosphere that would make it hard for anyone to slip out. Yawn, fun fact, mansion is a loan word in Japanese, but it kind of refers to condos instead of mansions. Interesting. Huh. Maiden Zero, Natsuhi trying to be optimistic. Oh, phew. They're just leaving me out of the inheritance discussions again. I mean, it's, from her perspective, like she knows where she stands in that conversation. She knows she doesn't have a shot in hell. So I'm with her. Like, there's no fucking point. Why even bother? Fuck it. You know? Leave me out. Y'all are gonna fucking kill each other over this shit anyway. Just, you know, I'll be in my fucking room when you're ready to get me too. Gambate. By the way, strawberry soju and monster. It's the Lando Norris monster, which is all green, and it's the the shade of my green screen. So yeah, it is not showing up. Very good, surprisingly good, actually. So anyway, if you're drinking, cheers. Bob, I am so excited for the part where they go over the tax codes and file. Okay. I'm sure that that's serious. I'm sure that you mean that that you are pretending that's a joke, but there's stuff in here where, okay, let me just get this out of the way. Book club made me realize something. It is very possible for me to think that Rosa is adopted, and that Rosa was basically like, because of some, I won't get into it, but basically I think that like either Kraus is either kind or a son of a bitch. Like, I can't tell which right now, or maybe he's both. Because Rosa, I don't think that she's biologically related to Kraus, to Kinzo, I mean, or Kraus, I guess, but that neither here nor there. Not biologically related to Kraus, Ava, or Rudolph, but like, there's a part of this dynamic that I'm gonna hold my horses on. I'm just gonna chill. I'm not gonna talk about it. Yes, that theory would be quite convincing for Natsuhi. Which, she remembered the illusion. The reason I said that though is because there might be some like legal reasoning for like adopting someone or like bringing them into the family in a way to like legally cover your ass or like legally protect them, or maybe both. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, there might be some legal fuckery happening there is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, she remembered the illusion she'd felt that morning, as though the previous night had never ended. When she learned that the feeling wasn't just an illusion, she once again took a deep, weary breath. After all, that banquet of filthy vultures circling Kinzo's property was still going on. She called them vultures too, not seagulls. What's up, vulture heads? How y'all doing? Perhaps they are discussing the inheritance somewhere in the garden, or maybe the beach. But why would they be discussing that without Ava and Hideyoshi? That's odd. At any rate, if we don't call Goda back, well, we'll never be able to begin preparations for breakfast. So what are you saying? Are Nissan, and then are Nissan and the rest still continuing their discussion? She had planned to say it in a small voice, but Hideyoshi overheard Natsuhi and managed to grasp the situation. Nissan and Rudolph sure are tough. Maybe it's just youth in Rose's case? Just a bit after midnight, the two of us were so tired that we headed back to bed. Though I do remember that Nissan and the rest were still having a heated discussion at that point. Men certainly are unpleasant when they get all fired up. Natsuhi snorted, her face still blank. Wait, snorted? Okay. Canon, search outside. If you find Goda, tell him to return immediately and begin preparing breakfast. Certainly. Yeah, scoffed. Was that... Did I read that wrong? Did that mean scoffed? Yeah, I imagine that she went like... Anyway. Natsuhi Ne-san. We don't know for sure that they're outside, do we? Couldn't they also be inside Father's study? See, that's certainly possible. I don't know what path their conversation took, but there's certainly a chance they moved to Father's study and let him in on the discussion. Naruhodo. I can't imagine that Father would willingly let them bring such a detestable topic into his study. Not without at least 3 jars of absinthe. You really think so? Well then, there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry, Genji-san and Kanon-kun. But could you search outside? It wouldn't be that strange for Nissan to suggest that they go for a walk to cool their heads. Sorry, I'm still wrapping my head around Nia Ne. Nissan Ne-san. Nissan Ne-san. Even in this weather, I'll go to Father's study. Who knows? They might actually be there after all. Eva-san, I couldn't ask a guest like you to exert herself, so I will go. I can also wish him a good morning while I'm at it. Oh, then I'll leave it in your hands.
Though
I somehow doubt he'll return your greeting. Natsuhine-san, have you always been on such good terms with father? I don't know whether you could call it that, but I am sure that I have gained his trust as the wife of the successor to the Urshiramiya family. Jan, yes, I do remember that, but at the same time, you have to understand that, like, I'm not, like, you have to understand, I am devastatingly American. I have never, well, you know what, that's TMI. I will say, I was going to say, like, something about, like, where I was born, but that is literally, like, I would prefer not to do that. So, the thing you have to understand is, like, when I see I immediately get it because it's knee. But when I see E, I also want to do knee because that is how you say, that is how you would, like, put a D at the end of that. Need, you know? Need. Like, so, yes, I was born in a baseball. Thank you. After a bolt of lightning hit. I was born in the primordial soup. We all were. Anyway, we use ni in English to refer to a person's pre-marriage last name too. Oh. Is it pronounced ni or ne? I did not know that. Anyway, but you have to understand, it's kind of like how if I were to come to you and say, no, it's pronounced GIF when you've been saying GIF your entire life. Because put a T at the end of GIF. What is it? Gift. But also, I am not a person who says GIF. Like, that's get that shit out of here. I don't care if the person who created the acronym says it. Acronyms it doesn't work like that. Anyway, well, I'm getting off on a wild ass tangent. All right, let's keep going. Then I'm sure he'll at least answer you, right? I'd like to at least have breakfast with father. Frozen treasure, I swear to God. You stop that shit right now. We do not tolerate GIF in this household. Do you think you could convince him to come down and join us? It seems that he thoroughly despises the rest of us, but I'm sure he'll listen to you if he trusts you that much. I will say, after speaking so boldly, if you're unable to convince father and come down alone, I will say it would be very funny with the conversations about who do you think's going to be murdered. I love Ava as well. It would be very funny if like half of the people in the mansion were just gone. Like if half the people here just like got axed. You know? It's like, I wonder which person, and then just like just destroyed. Like a fucking bomb goes off in part of the mansion and just like half the cast is just gone. Then I doubt you'll ever be able to claim that you've earned his trust again. Giggle, giggle, giggle. I am not confident, but I will try. Natsuki responded, looking discouraged. However, knowing Kinzo's temperament, she had absolutely no confidence in her ability to bring him out. Eva was clearly mocking her, confident that Natsuki wouldn't be able to get Kinzo to come down. But even so, Natsuki would lose face if she gave up, saying it was impossible and letting Eva go instead. Eva's mean-spirited and unreasonable demand made Natsuki clench her fists slightly, making her pull an Arthur. When Genji realized this, he softly spoke to her over her shoulder. Madam, please take this if you would. If it's a bottle of absinthe to like lure Kinzo out, like he's a bear and the absinthe is like meat, like luring him out of the room, that would be so fucking funny. What is it? And this is... Genji handed Natsuki a sparkling gold key of ornate design. Oh, so you're just going to go in. Oh. It was the key to Kinzo's study. The study had an auto lock and couldn't be unlocked as long as Kinzo forbade entrance. However, since Genji was especially trusted by Kinzo, he was allowed to carry a key to that door.
でもこの鍵を使ったら
But if this key is used, won't you also receive the blame?
親方様は
When the master is sleeping deeply, simply knocking on the door will not suffice.
扉をたたそれに
When he's fucking
親方様
blasted,
にお部屋を出ていただくよう説得
and it would
す
be
る
more difficult to persuade the master to leave his room if you must talk through the
難
door.
しゅうございましょう。ぜひお使いください。
Please use this.
源氏
Genji. Until now, Natsuhi had thought of Genji as a cold servant who wouldn't do anything for her, since he worked directly under Kinzo. No! Okay, first off, I've got so many thoughts. First off, Genji, no. Genji seems like a cool dude. Like, of everyone here, Genji seems to be like, I mean, he's loyal as fuck. He's got an awesome temperament. He's just chill. Maybe he's a little bit of an enabler to Kinzo, with like constantly like giving him the absinthe. But like the way he interacts with people, I think he's honestly like, I think he's restraining himself. I don't know why. Maybe it's like his upbringing, but I think he's restraining himself from being too like from involving himself too much in people's. What I'm trying to say is Genji reminds me of like a really kind neighbor who just does things without you realizing it and is just like you wouldn't know that he's helping you out because he doesn't want thanks. Maybe I'm reading way too much into this, but I like Genji. Genji seems like a cool he's just a cool guy who's like who doesn't want to be praised for being a cool guy. I think he's seriously like cares about everyone here. Even that little interaction with his fellow servants, like earlier when Shannon and Cannon were like talking about like their shifts, and Genji had like did the old like the kindly father thing of like, hey, don't you guys have somewhere to be? Like kind of like nudge, hey, hey. You're going to get in trouble if you don't do this. Like that is actually like that takes skill to not be a dick about it. That takes you have to want to be that way. You know what I mean? Either that or it just comes to him naturally. Either way, that's Genji just seems like a cool dude. Anyway, the other thing is the other side of this conversation is I'm getting setup vibes from this. I don't trust any of this shit. Like I think Genji is cool, but it is also very possible that Genji is just following orders from Kinzo to have a sequence of events happen. This feels weird, and I don't even know if also Eva Hideyoshi. I am paranoid. That's the whole point. Eva and Hideyoshi, you want me to sound even more paranoid? Eva and Hideyoshi are giving me like, they kind of give me scheming vibes. Less so Hideyoshi, but I don't know. Everyone's disappeared. All of the kids, all of Kinzo's children, the ones who were vying for the inheritance are just gone. And the only ones left are Eva and Hideyoshi. Are you like, come on. I suspect the goats. Yes, it's true. All right. Who wouldn't do anything or worked under Kinzo. But it looked like she would have to alter her understanding of him. She wanted to communicate her gratitude, but by then Genji had already turned his back on her and was walking down the corridor with Cannon. See, that makes me think. I think that's just Genji. I think that's just Genji being Genji. I think that he might. I think he's strategically giving, letting Natsuhi have this, upper hand. I think he's setting her up for success because of this. He's specifically doing it, on the sly. Ava doesn't notice this, right? So, he's whispering to her and passing her the keys. So, I think Genji's a goat. I think Genji's cool. But as Natsuhi watched them go, the words directed at her from behind were sneering.
じゃあお父様を必ず連れてきてね。
Well then, you must bring father with you, okay?
息子のかわい
After all, it's...
い嫁の言うことですもの。きっと聞いてくれるわよ。
I feel so bad talking over her, but I also feel like I need to do it for time, but oh my god, Ava, you are delicious. After all, it's his son's precious wife who's asking. I'm sure he'll listen to you.
私たちは客人だから、
You.
ここでのんびりくつろがせてもらうわ。
I'm letting the woman speak. I'm letting hashtag that bitch speak. Trust me. We're guests, so we'll just relax here at our leisure.
予算かエヴァ。口が過ぎるで。
Oh shit. Quit it, Ava. You're taking this too far.
すまんが夏日姉さん、お父さんのこと
Sorry, Natsuhine-san.
頼むわ。
But we're counting on you to deal with father. Without answering, Natsuhi forcefully spun around on her heels and quickly left that place. See, some... Okay, right now, off the gut, just saying it, I think Ava did something. I think Ava might be the cause for something for the disappearances. And I think that Hideyoshi knows, or like suspects this, and is like his facade, the facade is like crumbling a little bit. After all that excitement from the previous night, there was no way anyone was going to wake up early. George, Aniki, Jessica, and I were snoring loudly on the beds in the cousins' room. But Maria, who had gone straight to bed without joining in, was completely awake. What's up, Maria? As she rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked around, she was met with the loud snoring of the other three cousins. For a while, Maria had to think about what had happened. After that, she realized that her mother wasn't with her, and she quickly got lonely. Oh. Maria left the cousins' room, trying to head to the room that had been arranged for her and her mother. Paying no heed to the other three who were sleeping soundly, she slammed the door shut. In response, Battler mumbled and rolled over in his sleep, but it wasn't enough to wake him up. After a while, Maria returned, once again opening the door with a lively bang. I can just imagine, like, having your eyes closed and you're just hearing this, just like, bam! 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 Yeah. Oh. She is a precious creature. When she had left the room, her face had been sleepy, but now that she was back, she looked irritated. After that, she climbed up on Battler's bed, which happened to be the closest, and started yelling and jumping on it like it was a trampoline. Why did the word jumping sound like a fake word? You ever do that? You ever read a word and it sounds like a fake word? Wake up! I imagine she's jumping directly on Battler. What? Is it an enemy raid? Surround them! After making sure I was awake, Maria moved over to George on Niki's bed and started jumping on that too. I almost fucked up. Y'all almost caught me slipping. In that manner, the three of us were all greeted with an extremely pleasant awakening. Thanks for waking us up, Maria-chan. You stopped us from sleeping in after that late night. We don't need to hear George talk. If only you could have been a bit more gentle about it. George Nissan, you really are an adult. I respect that. It'll be 7 soon. Well, it's not really a bad time to wake up. Good yawn. Good-oo. Mama's not here! Aunt Rosa?
部屋にいなかったの？
She wasn't in her room?
もう起きてお屋
I
敷の
wonder
方
if
に
she's already woken up and gone to the mansion. Not here! Mama! Maria kept groaning ooh ooh and looking unhappy. She didn't exactly seem lonely because her mother wasn't around. It was more like she was irritated and thrown off balance because her mother wasn't where she'd expected. Bro. 1000%. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Maria, you precious soul. Honestly, fucking same. Like if things don't go to plan, if I don't have a schedule, like fuck me. It's just annoying. It doesn't like ruin the day, but it's just like, man, damn it. If only things were a little bit more organized. Anyway, cheering the crown. Cheers. Cheers to Maria. If we could just tell her where her mother was, that alone would probably calm her down. But unfortunately, we had no way of knowing where Aunt Rosa was, except that she wasn't here. Anyway, it's time for breakfast, so let's head over to the mansion.
そうだな。
That's right.
マリア、
Maria,
一緒に屋敷へ行こうぜ。
let's go to the mansion together, okay?
きっとローザおばさん。
I'm sure Aunt Rosa will be there too.
おママはお屋敷
Mama's in the mansion?
なら行く。
Then I'll go there.
おう
Ooh.
そうだね。
Yeah, I guess we should go to the mansion.
多分。
That's, I imagine George talks like that. George is like, yeah, guess we should go to the mansion. Our parents have probably already gone there. Like really fucking annoying about it, you know? Maria regained her usual composure so completely. Her earlier tantrum now seemed like a lie. We got dressed, left the room, and headed for the mansion. It's also funny that I imagine them sleeping in their clothes, like it completely, like, and that's Ursula Cat has reached a watch streak. Oh my God, you're on a 3-stream streak. Funny children. They are funny children. Once more, there was a knocking sound on the study door. But there was no answer. Oh. You hate to see a Nazi. You hate to see a Nazi like this. Look at her. Like, come on. He seemed to be sleeping still, and I could not wake him. If she went back downstairs and said something like that, Ava would probably be amused and triumphant. And even putting Ava aside, it was problematic that Kinzo had stayed shut away during this entire once-a-year conference, not even coming down to greet anyone. Even the family head, no, especially the family head, couldn't fail to make an appearance. I wonder if I can convince him myself. Natsuhi readied herself and used the key that she'd borrowed from Genji to open the door. We're gonna find a dead Kinzo. Even though she was prepared for the sweet stench, which seemed to eat into one's brain as it poured out the small crack in the door, she couldn't help but grimace. Poured out the small crack in the door? Thinking that he might still be sleeping, Natsuhi entered the room quietly. Did that say the liquid was... I don't like this at all. Did they mean that the stench was coming through the door or the liquid? Like, was the liquid on the ground? Anyway, when she did, Kinzo was already awake and looking down out of the window. The smell... Okay, the smell.
お目覚めでしたか。
So you're awake?
おはようございます。
Good morning.
どうやって入ったのか。
How did you get in? He's got like a gun. It's just loaded. It's at his side. How did you get in? Kinzo spoke with his back still facing her. His voice was not harsh, but calm, and Natsuhi was slightly reassured. However, though he was awake, he wouldn't have ignored all that knocking if he was in a good mood. Natsuhi wasn't able to relax. Same girl.
申し訳ございませんでした。
My sincere apologies.
源氏さんにお願いし
I
ま
asked Genji-san, and he allowed me to borrow the key to the study.
ほう
Oh,
元気がか
Genji did.
我が友がそれに足ると思ったならば
If my friend thought it was that important, then I have no choice but to listen.
して
Wait a minute.
私に何用か
So, what business do you have with me? Wait a minute. He thought it was so important. Wait. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key. Chosen by the key. Is this the key? Oh no! Don't kill Genji and Natsuhi. But I guess they're offered as sacrifices, so maybe that doesn't mean that they get killed necessarily. Chosen by the key? Bruh. No. Genji wouldn't do that. Genji wouldn't do... No. Alright. So, what business do you have with me?
はい。
Well...
もうじき朝食の準備が整います。
Breakfast will be ready soon, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would join us.
朝食はここで取る
I will eat here.
いつものように運ばせるが
Have it brought here like always.
しかしお父様、
But father,
年に一度の親族会議で
this
す。
family conference happens only once a year.
せめてお顔をお
Please
見せ
at
になってくだ
least
さい。
let them see your face.
下に降りて
Go back downstairs.
私の死後遺産をどのよう
Are
に
you asking me to join in as they discuss how to chew up my inheritance after I die?
バカらしい
How foolish.
そのような
Let them
話は
speak of such
私を
matters
抜
as
きで
much as they
進
would please without me.
そしてそれが親族
If
会
that's what you call a family conference, it's hardly worth leaving my room for it.
の価値はない
Got you one night.
私は忙しいのだ
All right, let me try and channel a Kinzo. I am busy.
構うでない
Do not bother me. No, it's too high. Do not bother me. No, I gotta go low. Do not bother me. His last words carried the threat that any further questions would not be appreciated. Natsuhi realized that adding any further pleas would finally bring his wrath down upon her. She didn't look forward to facing Ava's sarcasm, but there was nothing more Natsuhi could do.
そうですか。
Is that so?
わかりました。
Wakarimashita. Understood.
みんな残念がるでしょうが。
I am sure everyone will be sorry to hear it, but I will tell them. Natsuhi decided to give up. Bowing silently, she tried to leave the room before Kinzo's spasmodic temper could flare up. As she did, Kinzo spoke to her. His voice was so calm and gentle, it felt like it came from an entirely different person.
夏日
Natsuhi,
後ろ宮の家に嫁ぎもう随分になるな
it has been quite some time since you married into the Ushiromiya family.
はい。
Yeah.
後ろ宮を名乗ることを許されて
It has been many years since I was first permitted to bear the name Ushiromiya.
前の家が恋しくなることもあるか
Do you sometimes long for your previous family?
いえ、
No.
嫁ぐとは成果を捨てる。
Marriage means abandoning your birth family.
私は後ろ宮夏。
I am Ushiromiya Natsuhi.
帰る家も
The
懐かしい家
Ushiromiya
も
family is the only family I can
こ
come
の
home
後ろ宮
to,
の家のみです
the。only one I am fond of. She truly wasn't exaggerating. Such was the resolve she felt whenever she applied the Ushiromiya family name to herself. And that's precisely why she was so saddened when her husband didn't treat her like an Ushiromiya, leaving her to race about in vain.
クラウスが女で
If Kraus were a woman,
お前がその夫であった
and you his husband,
いや、
No,
それは言うまい。
I won't say that.
それはどういう意味ですか？
What do you mean by that,
お父様。
father? Natsuhi was shocked. If Kinzo's words just now were what they seemed, they would have been more than enough to make up for all she'd suffered up until that point. Oh, Natsuhi.
忘れよ。
Forget it.
年寄りのざれ言
It's just the
だ。
nonsense of an old man addicted to absinthe. Kinzo once again faced away from her. He told her to forget it, but Natsuhi couldn't help feeling a warmth in her heart.
お父様。
Father. Oh my god, she's smiling!
血はつながらずと
I
も。
think we only saw her smile one other time. Even though I, Natsuhi, am not connected to you by blood, I am still your daughter.
後ろ宮家の名誉も栄光も。
I will most assuredly see to it
そして
that your honor and glory
ものも全て
and everything you have left behind
この夏日が
are
必
protected.
ずや守ってみせますから。
Aww.
お前に片翼のわしをまとう資格はない。
I think I know where this is going. You do not have the right to wear the one-winged eagle.
しかし、お前の心に
Oh,
は
okay. That one a little different.
片翼のわしが刻む。
However, the one-winged eagle is surely engraved in your heart.
ならばお前は間違いなく我が
That is irrefutable proof that you are my blood relative,
を引き継ぐ者。
one who will inherit the glory of the Ushiromiya family.
お前の衣服にわしがないことを嘲笑
Some will sneer that there is no eagle on your clothes,
しかし、
but such words are not worth lending an ear
それに
to.
身を貸すことはない。心にわしを持つ
Only those who hold the eagle in their hearts are my true blood relatives.
血族なのだ。お前を後ろ宮家に迎え
And
ら
now
れた
consider it an honor that you were welcomed into the Ushiromiya family.
光栄に思っている。
What is this? Without saying anything more, Kinzo remained with his back to Natsuhi. However, Natsuhi couldn't help but feel something warm well up inside her that she hadn't felt since long ago, when she had been just a child. Natsuhi bowed silently to his back and left the room.
あら、ちょうどいいタイミングだったわね。
Ah, good
お
timing.
父様の様子はどう？
How is father?
あんまり遅いか
You
ら。
were taking so long, I came to check. Yo. Yeah, Dad just called me his favorite kid. Jan, originally this is where I was going to have you cut off for the book club. Oh, okay. Ava was smirking unpleasantly, thinking that Natsuhi would leave drudgingly after failing to convince Kinzo. However, the way Natsuhi was now, such a frivolous laugh would not disturb her. She was not permitted to wear the family crest on her clothing, but she was permitted to wear it in her heart. So she spoke calmly, clearly, and confidently, with the dignity of one who would protect the Ushiromiya family's glory.
お父様は親族会議にはおいでにならないそうです。
Father said he would not join in on the family conference.
汚らわしい議
He
題
says
に
he has no
関心がない
interest in
と
discussing such obscene matters.
とかなんと
I figured you'd say something like that.
お父様を説得できなかったんなら
If you fail to persuade father, just say
そう言えばい
so.
いじゃない。
No, no.
哀れですね。
How pitiful.
お父様が嘆かれるお気持ちも
I'm beginning to see why father lamented so.
それはどういう意味よ。
Well, what did you mean by that? You kicks her down the stairs. Oh no, that's where we're going. Natsuhi did not answer. Just as Kinzo had done earlier, she showed Ava her back as she headed down the stairs. Ava finally realized she was being made fun of, that something had happened to quickly bolster Natsuhi's confidence. Even so, she apparently didn't have the courage to risk Kinzo's wrath. Unable to even knock on the door, she could only click her tongue, make a motion as though scratching at it, and follow after Natsuhi. Make a motion as if to scratch it.
それで兄さんたちはいたの？
So were Nissan and the rest here?
お父様に
Sorry,
聞い
you
た
can
の？
hear my brain processing every time I see NII and NEE. It's like we were Nissan. Yep. Did you ask father about them?
聞きそびれましたが
I didn't get the chance to ask, but they were not inside the study.
お父様が
A father would never let them into his room to discuss such a lowly topic, so it is unlikely he knows where they went.
下に降りて
Let us go downstairs and wait for the servants to return from their search.
朝食は遅れますが
Breakfast may be late, but how would you like some tea, Eva-san?
別に結構よ
That would be fine. She's so flustered. She's used to bullying a Nazi. She's not getting any of it. It's just like, what do I do? I don't understand. I'm a fish out of water here. I don't get it. Eva couldn't hide her confusion at the complete difference in Natsuhi's attitude. She was acting so boldly, and while Eva hated to admit it, she even had a sense of dignity about her. Unable to find fault with anything, Eva could only follow Natsuhi back to the parlor. When the two of them returned to the parlor, Hideyoshi had been joined by the 4 children and Nanjo. Genji, who had been talking with Hideyoshi, reported the current situation when he noticed that Natsuhi had returned.
主人たちはまだ見つからないのですか
You still have not found my husband and the rest?
はい。申し訳ございません。
Yes, my apologies.
あと、熊沢が朝食
Also,
の準備
Kumasawa has started preparing breakfast.
もう少し
She said that
時
she
間を
will
いただ
need
き
just
た
a
い
little
と
longer.
ころです。
The clock read a little past 8. 8 should have been the time to start breakfast. Normally going over that time limit would be a disgrace to the host.
今、カノンが表
Cannon
を
is now searching outside.
それから、
Also, no one has seen Shannon either.
シャノンまで
Even Shannon's missing.
たく
Truly, just how many people did my husband bring with him on this little walk? Just how many people had gone missing now? Now that the number was this large, it was starting to feel truly unpleasant, as though the people here were the only ones being left out of something interesting. Okay. Okay. No, I keep hitting the wrong one. Okay. So, Kraus. Here. Kyrie, Rudolph. 4, Rosa. 5, Goda. 6, Shannon. Interesting. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. Chosen by the key. Chosen by the key. The bloody handprint. Did someone just like open up people? Like, did someone just have a key and was going around to like rooms, putting the key in, trying to open it, and then not being able to, and then taking the key out and just like going to the next one, and until they hit 6, like chosen by the key, or maybe the key is a person. I don't know. Much to consider. Robot face. I'm gonna regret seeing that fucking robot face so much. Anyway, 6, 7. There, I did it. You're welcome. It's a call and response thing. Am I cursed for like 10 years if I don't say 7 when someone says 6? Yahoo! We got another Mario in chat. Okay. Being left out of something interesting. I mean, yeah, they're chosen as sacrifices. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were sacrificed. So, anyway, I really want to like mull it over, but I also realize that like I need to keep pushing forward because watching me think is not necessarily very entertaining. At least that seemed to reflect the feelings of the children, and Maria in particular. She was indignant, her stomach grumbling, almost as though her mother and the others had left her alone to go off and eat something delicious without her. The other children were flipping through the channels on the television, trying to find a program that might interest Maria and cheer her up again. Nanjo was sitting on the sofa, gazing blissfully at the children while reading a book. It must have been a book about chess. Okay. The sound of footsteps came rushing towards them with a pitter-patter. There was only one set, so they realized before seeing who it belonged to that it was probably Cannon, not Kraus and the rest.
奥様、失礼します。
Madam, excuse me.
その様子では見つけられなかったようですね。
Judging by your appearance, you still haven't been able to find them.
申し訳ございません。
My apologies. I still haven't.
もう十分です。
That will be enough.
ご苦労をかけました。
You've worked hard. She didn't know where they were, but they had to be somewhere on this island. They hadn't had a thing to eat since the previous night, so their stomachs must be growling about right now. They'd probably come plodding back of their own accord before long. By now, Natsuhi was thoroughly exasperated and started to feel that there was no reason for them to go out of their way and search.
私はお客様方にお茶のご用意をし、
I will go to the kitchen to prepare some tea for all of the guests.
二人とも早朝からご苦労様でした。
Thanks to both of you for all of your hard work so early in the morning. See, Natsuhi's she just needs a little, she's been depressed. Depression is a motherfucker. You just need a little encouragement. Look at the pep in this lady's step. Exactly. After City, I wasn't going to say it before, but when she was saying all that stuff, and I was like, man, if I was Kansas, I'd just give her a big ass fucking hug. Just like a big hug. You need a hug, madam. Anyway. I will go to the kitchen to prepare tea. Thanks for all your hard work. She's so nice. What the fuck? Natsuhi left the parlor, acting as though the release intention had caused a new surge in her headache. Cannon tried to call her back, but Natsuhi left swiftly.
どうした?
No way. What is it?
まだ何かあるのか?
Was there something else?
はい。
Yes.
旦那様方のお姿を
I was unable to find her husband or anyone else, but...
その
Well, Cannon sounded evasive. It looked as though he didn't know where they were, but had spotted something that might be connected to their disappearance. Eva and Hideyoshi noticed the exchange of words and came over. They'd probably picked up on something strange in Cannon's behavior.
どうしたんや、カノン君。
What's going on, Cannon-kun?
クラウス兄さんたちは
Did you find Kraus,
見つかったんか?
Nissan, and everyone else?
実は
Actually,
バラ庭園の倉庫の様子が
the Rose
おかしいん
Garden
です。
storehouse looked strange.
様子がおかしい
What do you mean?
というのはど
It
ういう意味
looked strange.
それが
It was,
何と説明すればいいのか。
how should I explain it? Cannon hesitated once more. His tone wasn't at all what you would expect from this usual fearless boy. Seeing this, Eva and Hideyoshi looked at each other dubiously.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
倉庫の中に兄さんたちがいたんじゃないの？
Are you saying Nissan and the others were inside the storehouse?
いえ、中はこれから調べます。
No, I'm going to inspect the inside now.
その鍵を取りに戻ったところ
I
なの
just
ですが、
came back to get the key, but
その
ようわからんが、
I don't really get it. But it sounds like we've just got to look around inside it.
その倉庫の鍵は
Where's the key to that storehouse?
使用人室にあります。
It is in the servant room.
すぐに中を確かめましょう。
Let us check the inside the storehouse at once. Cannon dashed off to the servant room and returned with the key. Genji left the parlor, saying that he would go check, but then Eva and Hideyoshi followed after him. What was this something strange about the storehouse that had caused the usually fearless Cannon to hesitate? It was still pouring outside, but perhaps their curiosity over this something that Cannon couldn't talk about won out. While the children made a big fuss watching television, Cannon and the rest dashed over to the entrance. The Rose Garden storehouse was a place that housed various tools used to manage the garden. It was definitely not a pretty building. Because of its appearance, it had been built so that it was hidden in a corner of the rose garden. Kanon, Genji, Eva, and Hideyoshi came cutting across the rose garden, holding umbrellas. They entered a small path just off the rose garden, which was normally off limits for those appreciating the garden and only used by those maintaining it. As they dashed down to the storehouse, came into view in front of them. This is Resident Evil shit all of a sudden. It was quite an old shed, and compared to the flawlessly perfect beauty of the rose garden, it was pretty seedy looking. Seedy, get it? It was easy to understand why it had been built in a hard-to-see place. Eva and Hideyoshi arrived at the storehouse long after Kanon and Genji. You two sure are fast. I thought my heart was going to explode.
こんなところに倉庫なんか建ててたのね。
Eva just dismissing the joke. I never knew they had a storehouse way over here. But what?
何よそれ。
What is that? When Eva looked where Kanon was pointing, she was at a loss for words. Noticing this, Hideyoshi also followed Kanon's finger and was likewise too shocked to speak. The entrance to the storehouse was a kind of shutter. And there, everyone suddenly realized why Kanon had been unable to find the words to describe what they now saw. On the shutter, which was completely filthy from being exposed to the wind and rain for so long, stuck right on it, the halo of the sun. Yo! What the fuck? Pedro, thanks for the follow. There was something that looked like a strange dark red liquid? Aglaophotos? Is this straight up? Bro, didn't Ryuki... Oh my god, Ryukishi's been writing Silent Hill since fucking the beginning, dog. Mucus? Or maybe it was some sticky paint. An indescribably eerie shape was drawn on the shutter with some kind of ghastly substance. The rain had caused it to drip down like fresh blood leaking from an open wound. No more beating around the bush. Some kind of mark was drawn there, with a ghastly substance that looked like blood, in a shape that seemed to suggest something ominous. 2 circles were drawn there, and inside them was a design that looked like a cross. Oh yeah, it does look like an iron cross. I didn't know that. The 4 ends of the cross were widely exaggerated, and it looked like some kind of crest from somewhere around Europe. And in the cracks between these shapes, written closely packed together, were some unfamiliar characters or possibly symbols. What a vulgar bit of graffiti. Could this be one of those? One of those magic circles used in demonic ceremonies? It wasn't surprising that Hideyoshi would say that about such a ghastly shape, drawn with a deep red dripping substance.
これいつ描かれたの？
When was this made? Last night. I came here before it started raining and there was nothing drawn here at that time. We must do something before anyone sees this. If they laid eyes upon it, it would cause them great discomfort.
そうね。
That's right.
ただの倉庫小屋とはいえ。
Even though it's just a shed, I wouldn't want to leave such an unpleasant piece of graffiti alone for even a second longer than I had to. There is some paint inside the storehouse. Let us paint over it temporarily as an emergency measure. Then repaint it again someday when the weather is good. You sure you want to open that? Yeah. Ava. Ew! I don't know, man. Genji remembered that he had just recently seen another scribble, and that it too had been made with a strange dark red substance the same color as this. Oh, did Genji, when he reached for the door handle, did it actually have like a sigil on it or something? And he smeared it when he opened the door? That must have been That's right. He had seen it on the door to Natsuhi's room. Yeah.
カノン君
Canon-kun,
さっさとこの
let's remove this squibble quickly and go back, okay?
たとえ倉庫とは
Even though it's just a storehouse, it's really irritating to have graffiti around the home I was brought up in.
はい
Yes, ma'am.
すぐに済ませます
I
の
will
で
take care of it immediately. Cannon squatted in front of the shutter and unlocked it. Oh, God. Then he lifted it up with all of his strength. A boisterous noise resounded, and the eerie shape drawn on the shutter began to get sucked in through the top as the shutter was raised. At least for the time being, that ominous drawing disappeared from direct gaze, and they all breathed a sigh of relief. Bro, really? They're gonna be talking and stuff, and then... They're watching an LP of Deadly Premonition on the TV. Bro, oh my god. that was great, by the way. Thank you for that alert, Zhang. But are we going back a little bit in time, and they're just going to be like talking about the kids program and stuff, and then you're just going to hear them scream? It would be so cool if Ava didn't scream. Anyway. And the scream comes from like Hideyoshi or something. Thanks to a kids program they came across, Maria was feeling much better. Aww. Badler and Jessica were poking fun at the kids show at every turn, cackling together. George was enjoying the program with Maria from her perspective. Anyway, I'm just gonna move past that. Nanjo sat on a sofa by himself, passing the time by reading quietly. Live Nanjo reaction. I need to I think I'm gonna actually, when I get some time, not only am I gonna update my my soundboard with a bunch of stuff, but I think I'm also going to casually like drop little bit alerts and stuff that are like Umineko references. I think it would be cool to have the sigil like just appear. Like if you donated a certain amount. I also think it would be cool if like if you donated a certain amount, you could actually make the character say stuff, you know? Or yeah, like an emote or something. That might be better. They heard hurried footsteps coming from the hallway. They were the footsteps of a single person. Did that mean it wasn't the group of 4 that had just left? It was Genji. It was very rare for Genji, who considered being out of breath a violation of his servant's virtues, to be gasping for air. He had probably come dashing back from outside the mansion. His shoulders were soaking wet, and he didn't have his usual trim appearance. When Genji noticed Nanjo looking at him, he gave a small, silent bow and quickly approached him. Oh no.
Nanjo-sensei.
Dr. Nanjo, my apologies.
至急お越しください。
Please, come with me quickly. What?
何事ですか?
What's the matter? As Genji whispered something into Nanjo's ear, Nanjo went pale. He rose from the sofa, trying not to be noticed by the children who were still engrossed by the TV. And the two of them rapidly left the parlor, muffling their footsteps. Just as they were about to exit the parlor, they came across Natsuhi, who was pushing a serving cart loaded with a tea set. Genji whispered something into Natsuhi's ear, and Natsuhi went pale too, in apparent shock. Then, leaving the serving cart where it was, the 3 of them dashed toward the entrance. Genji noticed them running down the rose garden through the window. Or George. Sorry, did I say Genji? I meant George. What's that?
源氏さんと南條先生と
Isn't that Genji-san and Dr. Nanjo? And
あれは
that's
Natsuhiおばさんか。
Natsuhi, right?
どうしたんだよ兄貴
What's up, Aniki?
何かあったのかな
Maybe something happened.
ひどい慌てようだったね
They looked terribly flustered. They look terribly flustered. Oh, I'm George. Oh, the people outside. Oh, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare go outside in that awful rain. Oh, it's just beyond. Oh, it's beyond the pale. Oh, ew. Bleh. Oh, I'm George. Oh, I'm a little. I'm going to stop that right now. When Jessica and Maria saw that Ava, Hideyoshi, and Nanjo were no longer in their seats and that the serving cart had been abandoned in the entrance to the parlor, they also realized that something was the matter.
何か事故でもあったと
Could
か
there have been some kind of accident?
行ってみようぜ。
Let's go check it out.
俺たちだけの
It's no fun if we're the only ones left out, right? The George Bush laugh. For some reason, what Battler said sounded extremely indiscreet. But they couldn't deny that they were a little insecure and concerned after seeing the adults run off into the rain without regards to their appearance.
行ってみようぜ
Let's check it out, okay?
何があったか気にな
I'm
る
worried something might have happened. Jessica's uneasy words spoke for all of them.
おい、マリア。
Hey, Maria, are you coming too?
それとも
Or will you watch
テレビを
TV?
見てるか？
うんマリアはテレビがいい
I want to watch TV.
うん
Ooh.
僕たちだけで行こう。
I imagine that she's saying that. In your mind's eye, picture Maria looking at the TV, watching the cartoon. She's like watching, I don't know, like fucking, what's popular with kids? What's that one with the dogs? I'm not versed in children's television. Bluey, thank you. I knew it ended with like a Y, but yeah, but she's like watching Bluey and she's just not looking away when she's answering George. Or answering, I guess she would be answering Battler. But yeah, she's just not looking and she's just like, no, I want to watch TV. It's like, okay, yeah. Yep. Let's go on without her. Let's go on without her. Maria-chan, we'll be back soon.
テレビを見て
You keep watching TV, okay? Okay. Ooh. By the time the kids made it outside, the adults were no longer in sight. But Jessica seemed to have a pretty good idea where they'd gone, judging by the direction they'd been running. Following Jessica, we ran through the rain-soaked rose garden. The wind seemed to suddenly get stronger. The malicious sound of thunder began to ring out like it had the previous night. It felt like an eerie something had surrounded the island and was trying to stop us from moving forward.
ジェシカ、この先には何があるんだ？
Jessica, is there something over this way?
確か園芸道具なんかの
I'm pretty sure there's a storehouse for gardening tools or something.
そんなところに
What in the world could be going on in a place like that? Just as Jessica had said, they began to see a storehouse in front of them. They could also see the adults there. The shutter to the storehouse was open, and several adults looked as though they were searching for something. For some reason, only Natsuhi was outside the storehouse, without even holding an umbrella. She looked like she was hanging her head, and her back was facing them. There was Genji, Nanjo, and Natsuhi, who had just left the mansion. The ones who'd left earlier, Kanon, Ava, and Hideyoshi, were also there, making for a small crowd of people. But there was absolutely no bustle of activity. When Natsuhi realized that the children were approaching, a terrible expression rose to her face, and she ran to them with her arms spread wide. You mustn't come any closer. Go back to the mansion. But despite that, no, because of that, the kids saw the scene Natsuhi was trying to keep them away from. Inside the storehouse, with its shutter wide open, a faint fluorescent light shone down. And right there was... Jessica's piercing shriek rang out. But that was just because Jessica's scream was the loudest. The same thing spilled out of Battler and George's mouths as well. Ava spread her arms just like Natsuhi, roaring at the kids with a bone-chilling expression on her face. George, take everyone and return to the mansion. Quickly. Right now. When Natsuhi spread her arms, I thought she was trying to prevent us from advancing any further. But that wasn't why Ava was spreading her arms right now. Let me guess, George. She was trying to stop us kids from seeing the terrible scene. Okay, yeah, that's the other one. It was her mother's heart trying to protect the eyes and hearts of us children by blocking the view of that terrible scene by at least the width of one of her arms. That was Ava? I love Ava. Is this some kind of joke? Is it? I'd seen this kind of cheap scene all too often in manga, TV, anime, and movies. I'd seen it over and over again. This was just seeing something appear in real life that I'd seen plenty of times in some of those more sensational movies, right? That alone shouldn't... But that suit... It's that old bastard's, isn't it? I get it. Then that's Uncle Kraus. And Kyrie-san and Aunt Rosa... Ah! All right. I could do a scream if you all want me to. Shit. Oh my god. Dad! You mustn't, Jessica. You mustn't go in. You mustn't look. Oh my god. Rigor mortis has set in across almost the entire body. Most likely 6 hours or more have passed since death. As far as I can tell by looking at the damaged area, there is a high probability that they were damaged after their deaths. No, I must watch what I say. I'm a general practitioner. Examining corpses is outside of my area of expertise. So what does that mean? Just killing them wasn't enough, so they went on to do something like this? The devil. This here's the work of the devil. Aunt Natsuhi caught Jessica in her arms, and Aunt Ava caught George Aniki. So I was the only one who could approach the entrance to the storehouse. If only there had been someone there to catch me too. I wouldn't have needed to have this horrible, evil scene burned into my eyes. No, that's not it. It isn't that there's no one here to catch me. The people who should catch me, they're right there, aren't they? Just as Jessica said, it did look like a storehouse for gardening tools. A lawnmower with extra blades, a grass sickle, and a hammer. Some carpentry tools, such as a saw, piled up potted plants and bags of fertilizer, and treated just the same, the corpses of several people had been laid to rest there. No, had been tossed in there. I could tell them by their clothes. That old bastard and Kyrie-san. Oh, fuck. I knew, but Uncle Kraus and Aunt Rosa. Aunt Rosa? I really wish... I mean, she sucked, but at the same time, like... I don't want to see bad people die. I want to see them get better, you know? Like, fuck. Beyond that, Goda-san and... Are there still more of them? How many people died? You're fucking kidding me. I can't even count them on one hand. Damn it. I feel like I gotta do this scene justice by, like, voice acting. Like, damn it! I didn't know whether it had been one of these gardening tools which, if used for something like other than they were intended purpose, could definitely be wielded with a naked brutality. Or whether some horrible tool had been brought in here specifically for this. Anyway, each one of their bodies jammed in here had been given an atrocious makeup. It wasn't makeup, it was more like their faces had been plowed. Jesus Christ! Their faces were smashed, forced into expressions that normal people couldn't make even after death. I couldn't tell where their eyes or their noses were, but I could find their mouths because they were gaping wide, their gums exposed. But their front teeth were missing, and even the cheeks that should have covered all this were all torn up and laid bare. That trendy makeup you always spent so much time on, even though you're a man, isn't doing a thing now. Okay. What he said. Dad! I always thought you were going to hell. But still, not like this, right? You weren't such a son of a bitch that you should have to suffer so brutally. And Kirie-san, didn't I tell you to stop going out with this guy? There's absolutely no reason for you to end up like this, too. They've got no faces. No faces. Alright, I'll give it a shot. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Ah! Battler-san, you mustn't look anymore. There's no way your mother and father would want you to see them like this. For your mother and father's sakes, you mustn't look anymore. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for the CG scene. Dead people are supposed to have faces that look like they're sleeping peacefully, right? They've got no faces. My dad and Kirie-san have no faces. I don't even know what kind of faces they were making when they died. What's wrong with me? Will I have to see these smashed monster-like faces every time I remember them? That's just great. I didn't want to remember that old bastard's smug face anyway. Just great, just great. Why even Kirie-san's face? Kirie-san wasn't a crook. Sure, she ticked me off a bit now and then, but she was like a cool big sister to me. Yeah, that's the vibe, yeah. This is wrong. Oh. This is all wrong. At least Uncle Kraus has it better, doesn't he? It's not his whole face, just the side. At least he's got half his face left, right? That's still better. That's still better. There's... Oh my god. Yeah, I can't do that. No. Jessica filled her ears with the sound of her own screaming, trying to shut out my reckless words. Stop it, Ballerkin. Just stop it. Just stop it. I'm surprised no one's vomited yet. Aniki. Disregarding age and appearance, I fell to my knees, clinging to Aniki's waist and sobbing. It was as if I was crying on behalf of everyone there. Representing the feelings of everyone there, I screamed over and over. Kinzo knew. Father. The ones lying over there are Uncle Kraus, Uncle Rudolph, Aunt Kirie, and Aunt Rosa, and Goto-san. Just those 5, right?
Yeah.
No. Oh. Okay. George? There are 6 people. There's one more person over here. The body Hideyoshi was looking down on now happened to be hidden among the shadows in that mountain range of objects, in a blind spot to George, who stood by the entrance. So George couldn't tell whose body it was. So George cursed himself. He cursed the fact that his worst guesses always turned out to be right. So, the one lying at your feet is Shannon, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Shannon-chan.
It's Shannon-chan. What? Whoa! Ah! Ah! Yo! Oh God! Y'all got me fucked up right now. This is worse than Danganronpa. What the fuck? Like, holy shit! Oh my God, dog. Holy shit. It's just like a bomb. It's like what I was saying earlier. A bomb went off in the fucking mansion. Just like took out like almost like what, a third of the fucking people here. Jesus Christ. And they were all like lumped into. Oh my God. Can we? I'm sorry. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. I wanted, but get fucked. Can we have a moment of silence? Kyrie. Shannon. Thank you. You will not be forgotten. You will be, and you will be though. Anyway, okay, let's read. Ushiromiya Kraus. His corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. The direct cause of death is unknown, but it seems the side of his head was smashed after his death. This is the beginning of everything. His corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. Ushiromiya Rudolph. His face seems to have been smashed after death. He has a right to lament his ill fortune. I don't know. Maybe I said that like fuck off thing as a joke. I legitimately like I feel bad. Like even Rosa. Like honestly, Rosa was S tier and she just plummeted because of what she did to Maria. And then I really wish should have come back up. I really wish we got a little bit more from her, and like it wouldn't excuse what she did and she would still suck, but like at least like nah, man. That's the thing. That's the thing that really fucking sucks about death is that like you can't change anymore, you know? But Ushiromiya Rosa. Her corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. Her face seems to have been smashed after her death. I'll get to see her again, so I don't feel lonely. What? Huh? Yeah, her father's identity is unknown. For now. I think I know who it is. So I don't feel so lonely. Ushiromiya Kyrie. Her corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. Her face seems to have been smashed after her death. She was chosen by the Demon's Roulette. That's all there is to it. So I don't feel so lonely. Is this from the perspective of Kinzo? Because that would confirm my suspicion. Y'all, I'm starting to get some some stuff kind of sort of confirmed a little bit. Oh, thank you so much, Orb, for the stretch.
007 just redeemed stretch.
That's the one great thing about this chair is that I can do a big stretch. Oh, this chair is great for like being in like various like sitting positions. That Secret Lab chair, y'all, don't do it. I used to try to convince myself that Secret Lab chair was actually good. Bro, don't. Trust me, don't. Not worth the money. That shit, that fucking rock of a chair, of a seat. Oh my God. Oh God. So painful after, like, I had sat in it for like a couple of years trying to convince myself that shit was good. And then I sat in an actually good chair and it was like, oh, Oh, your legs aren't supposed to fall asleep within like 20 minutes of sitting down, huh? Yeah. Anyway, I'll get to see her again so I don't feel so lonely. I mean, who could, so that to me, that's either Maria or Kinzo. If it's Maria, that speaks to a whole slew of shit. I just noticed something. I just fucking noticed something. Jessica, Kraus and Natsuhi's daughter. George, Ava and Hideyoshi's son. Battler, the son of Rudolph and his first wife, Asumu. Maria, Rosa's daughter. Wait. Shit. Oh, damn it. Damn it. Never mind. I thought it didn't say that. I thought it didn't say that it was Rosa's, that she was Rosa's daughter, but I literally read the first line. It was Rosa's daughter. Shit. I had a theory and fucking take it right back. So it is Rosa. Okay, so the terrible implication is still there. Fuck me. God damn it. That was so funny. Shit. Anyway. That's interesting that Kinzo's still alive. All right. Servant Goda. I was literally about to be like, oh yeah, maybe like Kinzo, maybe Maria is Kinzo's kid and Rosa is just raising Maria, because I was looking at these and I didn't see that for some reason. I was looking at these as like, oh yeah, first, like definitely saying that everybody's related. And then I read Rosa's daughter and it's like, fucking shit, damn it. Anyway, that line though, that right there, what the fuck? Servant Goda, his corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. His face seems to have been smashed after his death. How unfortunate. Apparently he was originally supposed to be on duty in the guest house. What? Supposed to be on duty in the guest house. Who was on duty in the guest house? Oh, wait. They're saying it's not that he took someone's place. They're saying that he was originally supposed to be the... Wait, is that what it's saying? I guess we might get more info. Shannon. Her corpse was found inside the Rose Garden storehouse. It seems the side of her head was smashed after her death. Don't worry. Everyone will be revived in the Golden Land. Yeah, I just didn't remember the specifics of who exactly was supposed to be where, but I did remember they mentioned it. I just didn't remember exactly who was where. Oh yeah, wasn't it like they switched out because it was... Wait, no, Shannon was there because Shannon was walking around, and then Shannon was walking around the mansion. I feel like I need to watch that scene again because it'll give us a bunch of like clues about like who is where and when. Why are they smashing people's faces? Well, hey, Maria's not dead. Yes, it's Shannon Chen. Oh. George fell completely silent. He shook slightly, his lower lip trembling. Normally, he would have wanted to run to his beloved's body, screaming and crying. However, before rashly running forward, he worked to keep his composure and asked his father. Is Shannon the same as Uncle Kraus and the others? Hideyoshi deeply understood the meaning of those words. so he couldn't give George an immediate answer. Or rather, he felt that silence was the only sincere and loving response he could give George right now. When George asked if Shannon was the same, he meant to ask whether her corpse was in the same condition as the others or not. I mean, since Hideyoshi hadn't denied it, it meant her corpse was in the same brutal state.
シャノンを
Can I
見てもいいかな
look at Shannon?
いや
No,
あかん
you can't.
どうして
Why not?
だってもう二度とシャノンの顔を見られないんだよ
After all, I won't be able to see Shannon's face again, right?
その
So
最後の顔
why won't you let me see
どうして見たらいけないんだよ
what her face looked like at the end?
お前が最後にシャノンちゃんに会ったのは昨日か
The last time you met Shannon-chan was yesterday, right? Yes,
そうか
I see.
そのシャノンちゃん
When you
は
left her,
別れ際にお前にどんな
what kind of face was she showing you?
素敵な
It was a wonderful
笑
smile.
顔だったよ
After he handed her the ring, she hesitated, even though she must have already made up her mind. Then she looked bashful and ran away because she was embarrassed to let him see her face looking like that.
Acid Shark just rated with 6 viewers.
Acid Shark, what a time to raid. Major spoilers for Umineko, for anyone who's interested. We just hit a moment early on in the game. We're still very early on, but please be cautious. If you want to read Umineko on your own, now would be the time to maybe like bow out. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you for joining. Thank you for saying hi. But if you have any interest in Umineko, proceed cautiously. We just got to some shit. Let's just say that. That's the expression that was revived in George's mind.
そうか
I see.
ならシャノンちゃんも
Then I'm sure Shannon-chan would want to leave you with that smile in your
お前が
memory.
残したいと願うはずや
See what I'm saying? Hideyoshi looked down upon Shannon's body lying at his feet. Just like the other bodies, it was in such a horrible state that it'd make anyone want to cover their eyes. Her head had been smashed in from the side, and no more than half of her expression remained. If the remaining blood-soaked half of her expression had been wiped clean, would that graceful smile of hers have peeked out? But only half of it. Yeah, no, yeah, Chuck, yeah, they're going, what? This is great. Yeah. I really enjoy that coming in here, and it's just like, oh, this looks happy. The music's nice enough. And then Shannon's dead. Her face has been smashed. 5 other people have been murdered, and their faces have been smashed, and they've all been dumped into a fucking like a fucking a shed, into a pile. Without thinking, Hideyoshi slapped his hands over his eyes. How brutal. If her face was going to be crushed anyway, then if only all of it had been crushed, he might have been able to temporarily distract George from his pain by making the pathetic suggestion that it was someone else wearing Shannon's clothes. But half of her face had been left untouched. It caused the body so much humiliation, while still proving beyond doubt that the body was Shannon's and no one else's. How inhuman, how brutish. Oh, God. I just realized. So this means half of her face, half of her face, half of his face. Full face, full face, full face, full face. So we can absolutely say for certain Shannon and Kraus are dead. But Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, and Goda have had their full... More so Kyrie. Jesus Christ. Less so Goda. Goda's just his jaw is there. Huh. What I'm trying to say is I'm in kind of Danganronpa mode. I need a Danganronpa.mp3. I need for like to play, because like right now I'm thinking like their corpses could have been swapped. Like this might not be Kyrie who's in this pile. Right now suspicions are on Kyrie and Rosa. Less so Rudolph and Goda. What made him suspicious? Why was he like, I'm gonna die tonight? What happened? That makes me think he's in on it. That makes me think like, I'm gonna die, and then he's like slightly hinting at them like, I'm not really though. Like, I'm going to die tonight, you know? You know what I'm saying? All right. And there, trying his best to burn the image of the remaining half of Shannon's expression into his eyes as she lay at Hideyoshi's feet, was Cannon. Cannon was not crying. Tears had risen to his eyes, but they did not drip down. But that didn't mean he wasn't feeling as much sadness as everyone else. Losing Shannon, who had lived with him in the same orphanage, whom he had loved as a sister, must have been just the same as losing a blood relative.
George,
I'm sure Shannon-chan is saying thank you. She must be glad you didn't end up seeing her in such a pitiful state. I'm sure. She's thanking you for holding strong and showing restraint. I understand. I understand, Father. I understand. George leaned against the outside wall of the storehouse, crouching limply. Father, I have a request. What is it? I want you to look for me. Is there a ring on Shannon's finger? A ring? Let me see. Hideyoshi crouched down. As he did, Cannon silently pointed at one of Shannon's hands. Yeah, there is. It's a diamond ring with a valuable diamond. Must have been pretty expensive. And which hand and which finger is it on? The ring finger of her left hand. I see. So Shannon-chan was engaged? George, don't tell me you... Ava! That doesn't matter now. A man made a lifelong promise to Shannon-chan. A man promised her happess for life. Who that man was isn't the issue here. Being told by a man is a woman's dream, isn't it? I don't know when she received this ring. I also don't know who gave it to her. However, even so, Shannon-chan took this ring. She then accepted it and put it on her left ring finger. I'm sure the man who gave it to her was also happy. To most of the people here, Hideyoshi was simply disturbed by this extraordinary situation and was blurting out nonsense. However, someone who knew of George and Shannon's true relationship would understand the full meaning of those words. Jessica? Or Ava?
そっか。
I see.
ありがとう。
Thank you,
父さん。
Father. George stood up. The traces of tears still streaked his face, but his expression had returned to its usual calm one.
行こう。
Let's
バト
go.
ラ君。
Valor-kun, Jessica-chan.
これ以上、
If we stay here any longer, we'll get in the way of the
大
adults.
人の邪魔になる。
そうだな。
You're right. Jessica sniffled once, showing her face to her mother, who had been holding her the whole time to let her know she was okay now. Oh. When she faced George again, she once again had on her usual expression, although she still couldn't smile.
バトラー、
Battler,
しっかり。
hang in there. Battler kept on crouching in front of his parents' bodies.
すまねえな。
I'm sorry.
がっつり泣いたら落ち着いたぜ。
Crying like hell calmed me down.
親父の野郎。
You bastard dad. I bet you're laughing at me.
そう言ってるくせに。ちょっと死んじまったくらいで。
After all that shit I talked about you, here I am crying like a baby just because you died.
仕方ねえだろ。
Well, so what?
親が死んだら泣くように。
I guess I just got that gene that makes you cry when your parents kick the bucket. Battler's face was still bright red from the tears, but he had at least recovered enough to fake a smile, if only a bitter one.
カノン、
Cannon,
お前もこれ以上ここにいては
you mustn't remain here any longer either.
子供たちを連れて
Take the children and return to the
戻って
mansion.
いなさい。
Natsuhi had been standing under the rain the whole time, unable to take a step into the storehouse. Maybe she had her own way of grieving, different from Battler's. Realizing that she had to take on a role of responsibility now that her husband was dead, she gave Cannon those orders.
はい、
Yes,
奥様。
madam. Cannon rose silently and turned to face me. His face was pure white, almost as though his own heart had died along with Shannon. Oh, little guy, little guy. And there was no life in his expression. I mean, do I have to say it? I don't think furniture's known for having a heart. Being alive. All right. Yep. I'm going to hell. On an ordinary day, if he had been told to guide the children through the beautiful rose garden, Cannon might have led the way. But now there was no distinction between Cannon and the children. They were now just kids about the same age, suffering the same pain of losing those close to them. After making sure that the children were leaving, Natsuhi started giving orders to Genji.
ケンジ、
Genji,
すぐに警察に連絡しなさい。
contact the police immediately. I mean, I just remembered the phone. The phone has been cut.
台風が通り過ぎる
They
までは
probably won't be able to come until the typhoon passes, but they should be able to tell us
指示を
what to
与え
do
てくれる
next.
はずです。
わかりました
Understood.
防災用の無線機がありますので
There is an emergency radio, so I will use that to contact them. Oh, fuck me. Oh, okay. Shit, I forgot about that. When she heard that, Natsuhi remembered. That's right, the phones were out today, weren't they? However, they also had a radio, since they couldn't necessarily rely on phones all the time while living on an isolated island. If that emergency phone is smashed, that leaves it to a very specific group of people. People that would know about the emergency phone. At any rate, they should start by contacting the police and receiving their instructions. Everything else could wait.
ナチョ先生、
Dr. Nanjo,
もうこの場は
is there anything more you can do here?
どうしようもありませんか。
残念ながら
Unfortunately,
私には
there is
何もでき
nothing
ま
I
せん
can do.
わかりました。
Understood.
ケンジ、
Genji,
主人たちの
Could you at least cover their faces with
何かで覆
something?
ってやること、このような姿を
Exposing them like this is humiliating to them as well.
にとっても屈辱的。
はい
Yes, ma'am. Genji picked up several dried up towels from inside the storehouse. When Ava stopped him with a shrill voice,
ちょっとちょっと
Wait a second.
お待ちなさいよ。ここは犯行現場なんでしょ。
This is the scene of a crime, isn't it?
なら変に手を加え
Then
て
we
ダメ
mustn't
よ。
disturb it. Fucking Ava over here listening to True Crime Podcast. Thank you. Yeah. I'm with Ava. Don't fuck with that. Leave everything as it is. Fucking stop touching anything. Everybody get the fuck out. Oh, but the typhoon and that makes it so much more difficult. Ugh. True crime mom moment. This is what all true crime mothers wish for. And at the same time, like, I wanted to be like, this kind of exonerates Ava because why? But then again, I'm remembering, like, who are the people that are alive right now? Ava, Hideyoshi, George. Seems to be like one family is intact, while all of the others. That's suspicious as hell. That's suspicious as fuck. I'm with Ava, though. Don't fucking touch anything. We all panicked and walked in here with our shoes on, but even that would surely get in the way of the police's investigation, right? Natsuki glared at Ava, offended. Objectively speaking, Ava was right. Even so, she glared at Ava as though accusing her of refusing to do those tragic corpses, which had been humiliated even after death. The simple kindness of covering their faces. Sorry. I got confused by the way that was worded a little bit. Anyway. However, Ava had spoken both calmly and correctly. This horrible situation definitely wasn't an accident. It was a crime. It was a true crime. Someone had killed them. It was a murder case. So they needed to be careful to avoid disturbing the site any further. They had to do what little they could to aid the police, preserving clues that might help catch the detestable culprit. I agree with Ava-san. Until the police come, we should leave everything be. What do you say, madam? You're right. Very well. Close it up. And just in case, we should put a different lock on it. A different lock? Yes. When we came here, the shutter was locked. That means the culprit used the key to the shutter to lock it. That makes sense. So does that mean the key that opens the shutter will have the culprit's fingerprints on it? I'm sure it'll be worth submitting to the police as evidence. But Canon-kun usually has it, and he used it to unlock the shed just now. It'll probably have Canon's fingerprints on it. Also, that key was handed to Genji-san just now, and he took it with his bare hands. Doesn't look like it'll be very useful as evidence. You can get a partial. That was careless of me. My apologies. Genji-san, are there any other keys to this storehouse? No. Only this one. So the culprit walked out of the servant room with that key, and then was nice enough to return the key to where they found it. Hideyoshi's theory sounded plausible, but was actually very strange if you thought about it. Why would they go to all the trouble of returning a key they stole? No, if you think about it even more deeply, there are some points that are even more bizarre. When a criminal hides a body, they're usually trying to delay the point at which it will be found, so they can use that time to escape. The six weren't necessarily killed here, but it was reasonable to assume that they were killed somewhere on this island, carried to the storehouse, and hidden to delay the discovery of the crime. And yet, the eerie magic circle scribbled on the storehouse shutter had eloquently indicated the location of the hidden corpses. Sure, it didn't explicitly mention the corpses, but 6 people had gone missing. In that situation, someone had made such an obvious piece of graffiti and even returned the key to the shutter. Almost as though they wanted the corpses here to be discovered. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait. How? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16. 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That would leave 2 other people. I just had an idea that, like, what if there was a reason Kraus was playing chess with Nanja that Nanja didn't realize? What if the reason he was playing chess was to determine who would get killed? Like, maybe he had an idea of who each piece represented. But they said, I want to take a look at that chessboard again. But they're... Yeah, okay, so... 1 king, 1 queen, 2 rooks, 2 bishops, 2 knights, 8 pawns. Well, yeah, there are more than 18 pieces, but I'm talking about the named pieces for one side. I know there are 32, yes. You're not doing a very good job yes-anding me, iCat. It's very frustrating. When someone has a crackpot theory, you're supposed to encourage them. It's like improv. It's yes and. Yeah, Bob. That's very smart and thoughtful. All right. Fuck me, I guess. Almost as though they wanted the corpses there to be discovered. All the pawns are battler, yeah. It's chess all the way down. Frozen treasure. No. You're not supposed to say it after I say it. It ruins the whole thing. That's what I was going for. It's 16 on one side. And that would be the representative of the family. That's kind of what I was going for. Anyway. That's another thing. It's like, why the eagle? Why the wing of the eagle? Whatever. I need to keep playing. Anyway, we can't put all of our faith in a lock that the culprit has opened once before. If we want to protect this place from the culprit's hand, I think we should put a new lock on it. I think that is a good plan. I agree. Genji fished around inside the storehouse and unsealed a brand new padlock that had been inside a small box. What should I do with the key? I will take it. I will take responsibility and hand it over to the police. Natsuhi took the key from the padlock from Genji's hand. After that, they all exited and lowered the shutter. And so the corpses were once again sealed behind the shutter, which was still covered with that creepy magic circle, although it wasn't represented in the art. Genji crouched down in front of the shutter and to fasten the new padlock. Shutters often have a place in the front where you can attach your own lock in addition to the main lock of the shutter. This was one of those types. In the midst of the roar of thunder and the pouring rain, the storehouse stood there ominously. With its closed shutter still covered in a blood-like, creepy substance, it swallowed up the bodies of the 6. To Natsuhi, putting the new lock on wasn't mainly to preserve the scene for the police. She might have felt like she wanted to shut that mouth for all eternity. To prevent that eerie beast from swallowing up any more victims. Oh, okay. What? Putting the new lock on wasn't mainly to preserve the scene for the police. She might have felt like she wanted to shut that mouth for all eternity. The mouth of the... This is getting me fucked up because it's like, is it the representative, is the mouth of the shed? To prevent that eerie beast from... I'm assuming that's what it means, but she could mean it like... shut that mouth. For all eternity. Might be talking about Kraus is what I'm saying. Probably not. I'm probably looking into it. Expect that from me. I go hog wild on this. iCat, hey, I can't gaslight you efficiently if I always agree with what you say. It's true. It's true. I had a sneaky suspicion. You're a sneaky guy. You're a sneaky sneaker. You're always sneaking around trying to manipulate me. Otterslinger, hello. Welcome. Love the name. That song is what got me to try this game. Oh yeah. We were playing this a lot on the book club last night. That was very funny. Yeah, it came on at very opportune moments. It's a good track. It's a very good track. Come on, let's go, everyone. Mina. Dr. Nanjo, thank you very much for your work. Genji, hurry up and contact the police. I will do so as soon as I return. The adults left the storehouse. The ghastly magic circle drawn on the shutter kept the 6 bodies in its throat. Okay, it's continuing the metaphor. Looming eerily as the lightning occasionally lit up. Moving eerily. All right. Guess we're calling it there. Let's go ahead and give this a save and talk about how we feel. Y'all, I'm kind of fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. Ugh. Shit. Starting out with the fucking massacre? Dog. My God. I loved seeing that other side of Ava. I loved seeing Ava like... Whoa. Like, I love Ava for being like, hashtag that bitch. But I like her being competent. I like her being like, whoa. Like I like that. It's like she... And the fact that she wasn't like... That's the thing, though. It's like, she's not affected, really. Okay, so things we know. Things I'm just gonna talk about right now. Things we know for certain. I'm very certain of this. Their faces were smashed for the reason of hiding one of these people, like hiding one of their bodies. I don't think one of these bodies is actually the person who it's supposed to be. I think it was someone else whose clothes have been swapped. Maybe. They're gonna do the fucking Saw thing. So to me, that says, like, if someone's face is completely fucked up, that makes me very suspicious. That makes me very suspicious. And unfortunately, I think Shannon accidentally got caught up. Shannon got caught up in the crossfire, is what you could say. You'll get caught up in the crossfire. Damn, dude. Go to hell. No one's ever made that joke. Shit. Not gonna lie. The people who are mighty suspicious right now. That would be very funny. I mean, they could have been poisoned by like some tea, and then Kumasawa or someone working with her just like put a fucking lawnmower on their faces. Because that's one of those things where I have no doubt that if we go through that line by line and account for everything that was in the storehouse in that shed, like we could, like, I'm pretty sure one of those things was the tool used to, like, even Battler said it, like, it could have been a weapon that someone brought to the island, or it could have been something in that storehouse that was normally meant for one thing but was used for a horrible thing. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm just going to throw it out there. Hail Mary. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think it's Rosa. I'm officially putting my flag in the sand. I think it's Rosa. Rosa gave something. I think Kumasawa is also working with Rosa. I think Rosa gave Kumasawa something. I don't think it was just like tea. I think there's something happened there. That was weird. They tried to pass it off as like, oh, she's so thoughtful. I think that was like poison or some shit. I think that was like, I don't know what the fuck was going on there. I think Rosa maybe tricked Kumasawa. There was that whole thing about Ava, like, talking about the poison, planting it in our heads. I think Rosa was doing something. I think Rosa was basically fucking with these three. Goto was there, potentially. Oh, yeah, Goto would be serving the food, wouldn't he? And then, unfortunately, Shannon walked in. This is making me realize I need to watch that scene over again. I need to watch that whole thing over again. Because there's the aspect of like Rosa potentially having a relationship with Kinzo, begetting Maria. That I don't like that at all. The reason I say that is because Kinzo and Ava, Kinzo begat Ava, red hair. So there might be a recessive gene. I need to learn more about how that recessive gene, because red hair is recessive, right? I need to look that up. Yeah, Valor has red hair, but it's not the same. It's like a different kind. It's a different color. I mean, look, it's literally the same. Oh, maybe a little bit darker. Hold on. Let me take a screenshot and use Photoshop's color picker to find the exact hex code for the hair because we're at that point in this fucking shit. All right, y'all. Maria is awesome, but I also am, See, I was thinking, like, how could you hide a corpse? And that made me think, like, what if Nanjo had like, he just brought a corpse? What am I saying? Oh my god, what am I saying? What am I doing? All right, here's the biggest thing that we can do right now: is look at this. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. So the 2 who are close. I would imagine Hideyoshi and Ava. It might also be Kinzo and Nanjo. Might be Battler and Jessica. Well, they're not really close. Kumasawa and Genji? Genji and Kinzo. All right, biggest candidates for what's about to happen. Genji Kinzo, Eva Hideyoshi. I think those four are on the chopping block for the second Twilight. Third Twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. The ninth Twilight, the witch shall revive. Well, wait, hold on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 are left. $11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And then which shall arrive. And then all 5 are gone. So I guess it's a race against the clock. That's what this is. It's like, hey, all of you are going to start kicking the bucket until the ninth Twilight. You have 9 days. Or, well, I guess 8 days. Because the first Twilight already happened. So yeah, it's the fucking ring. You have 8 days to figure this shit out, at which point the witch is coming and y'all are fucking gone. So you got to figure this shit out. But why does it say ninth Twilight, which shall revive? Oh, okay, wait, no. I think I'm reading that wrong. On the ninth Twilight, the witch shall revive, and then on the 10th Twilight, none shall be left alive. Maybe? Like she's reviving and then basically like, ha ha ha, you all suck. You didn't figure it out. Get got, idiots. At journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures once and for the last time. I'd reread that second Twilight. Those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. Oh! Those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close? Does that mean they have to kill somebody? Does that mean it's basically goading the survivors into killing two people who are close? You got to read the Twilight series in order to fully understand. What if I watch the movies? Will I still get it? Because I watched the movies. I saw that fucked up weird ass baby. That fucking... Oh my god. Okay. Oh, man. Man. Okay. The witch shall revive. Okay. All right. We're going to call it there. I'm in think mode. I apologize. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining. Holy fucking shit. I saved, right? Yes, I did. I'm just going to save a couple more times. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think Jan, let me know if we're streaming the next ones or if we're doing that on Discord. But yeah, go ahead and tag me. You can DM me or hit me up on the Discord. And yeah, that's it for us. Maybe we'll see you soon. Definitely see you somewhere. We're gonna play more. Tomorrow we're doing Final Fantasy, so putting Umineko on hold for a little bit, but we're gonna get back to this because y'all, what the fuck is going on? I expected like someone to die, not like a third of the fucking characters. Damn, I was really interested in where some of them were going too. Anyway, there's no greater delight. If anything, I am glad to be of assistance with y'all's entertainment. So, no, I appreciate it. Thank you all for hanging out. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Bye.